Shadreck Malawi is a Green Fellow currently participating in the Green Institute program, and he's the founder and the CEO of Colima Africa, a digital ecosystem designed to transform Africa's real economy. So you're bringing real-world impact into this discussion as well, and I'm very happy to welcome you to the panel today. I'm assuming you're going to share your own presentation if you do have one.
All right. Once again, thank you so much for having me. I'm Shadreck from Malawi, and today I'll be presenting my work, Coordination as Infrastructure. This is a pre-development framework for energy justice in the Global South. So I will try to make the presentation as quick as possible, knowing that maybe the time is not on our side. So to begin with, I get to understand that a lot of presenters have presented their work, and much has been shared when it comes to technology, when it comes to energy grid. But my work is focusing entirely on another aspect, where now we are talking of that the problem has been misdiagnosed, especially when we talk of the energy injustice. Taking a look at the global perspective of how this problem has been handled, we get to understand that energy demand is not just a matter of one sector, but it is based on different activities that are happening from different sectors to do with speaking of agriculture, speaking of housing, speaking of water. All these activities from these specific sectors, they make what we call energy demand. For example, let's say that maybe you want to build a house. So if you're building a house, the pipes for the kitchen, the pipes for the bathroom, or the pipes for the gardens, let's say that they are being designed by a different person. These people, they are not, they don't talk to each other. They are just working in silos. Even though there is a huge availability of water, the system is going to fail. We are seeing this the very same happening in energy sector, where we have the energy sector planning on themselves, the agriculture sector planning on themselves, the housing planning on themselves, yet they all work together to assume the energy demand. Now, our core thesis, we are talking of that coordination is a fundamental infrastructure, where we are saying that we must reject the scarcity narrative in favor of the fragmentation reality. We have all heard that there are a lot of billions, a lot of millions of dollars that have been invested in electricity, in energy sector. And we have technology available, but the problem is we don't know how to coordinate, how to distribute this energy to reach the actual people who are really looking for that problem, who are really looking for those resources. So our work, we are dealing much on how we can make sure that these small activities that are happening in our daily lives, for example, in agriculture, in housing sector, in informal trade, all these activities, how are they contributing to the need for energy? Here is our solution that we are bringing in. In our project that we are working on, we are building Colima OS. So this is a community ledger which is connecting daily economic life to energy planning. On a surface, we have agriculture and water, we have housing information, we have trade information, all these information that is happening in our community. We have to, we need to find a way on how we can collect data from that perspective, so that we can plan better. We can know the exact amount of energy that is needed to support our community lives. So our model is focusing on we have got we have got three modules that helping us to achieve our end goal. We have the Lumosa. So this is the livelihood intelligence. This module, what it does, it daily activities of community members. It takes those daily activities, record them as energy signals. So once these energy signals have been recorded, the Londai is there to map the settlement, the area, on how people are distributed in the areas, and to see where exactly do we need to plant our energy, where exactly do we need to plant our infrastructure. And then we have the Centauri. This is where we make sure that the information we are collecting from the information that we are collecting from village members is trusted and recognized without the use of surveillance, without even KYC, but yet it is information that can be trusted and can be proven. Our model, we are talking of recognition before access. So you have to understand that we are dealing with farmers here. We are dealing with communities here that are in need of electricity, that are in need of energy, but energy is not there. Yet we have got resources on the ground, we have got funding on the ground, we have got technology on the ground that is being produced day in, day out, not as popping in resources, but the actual necessary materials are not reaching the intended beneficiaries. So our model through Zentari protocol, which is now which is our recognition and trust. This is where we are able to identify the action, the exact people, the exact community that needs to receive the energy that is needed. So, for example, under this protocol, we are saying that Kulima Waste explicitly refuses GPS tracking, biometric data, or even proof of truth mechanism. If we do not collect GPS tracking, we do not collect KYC, we do not collect biometric data, that all this information, we can easily access it through our correlative repetition over individual proof. That is by making sure that we collect the coordination confidence that is there, even through the pattern correlation over time, neither through individual verification or credit scoring. So the entire community is made as a co-steward, not as customers as the current system is. For us to understand better, let's see the activities that are happening right now and the activities that Kulima Africa is proposing to be implemented. For example, the current system that we have now, they are focusing on the primary metric is that individual connection, where the supply is based on top down. An individual has to prove that he has got a formal business, he has got he's able to he's able to pay for services and everything, so that maybe he might be eligible to receive a certain energy infrastructure. While our approach, we are focusing on community-led participation resilience, where the entire community can contribute based on the activities that the community is doing. The community is going to get a score to say that you are eligible for such kind of an infrastructure, so that it can help you in managing your daily activities. Let's look at the real example, like a case study. Here you are able to see an image where a typical farmer in the village, they are involved in agricultural activity. But when you look closely, you would see that all these activities, they might need maybe an irrigation system, or they might need some cooling systems, but yet these activities, they are not made visible to public agencies because they are in informal trade. They don't have actual papers for them to register. They don't have maybe they don't know someone in higher powers, but yet these people, the ones who are supposed to receive energy justice. So our model, so A smallholder farmer in rural Malawi requires cold storage and solar irrigation to prevent crop spoilage. But now, her agricultural work and energy needs are completely disconnected from national grid planners and even financial institutions. So, as a result, planners categorize her region as a low demand area because her economic activity is undocumented. Heavy hardware interventions and even they consider that this is a risk area. Now, our solution, we are coming in as our first entry, which is Lumoza. A typical farmer can just voluntarily log into our system his daily activities. For example, I'm planting maize today, I'm watering maize today. So all these activities that is going to be feeding into the Lumoza app, they are going to be collected as energy signals. Based over time, they are going to form what we call a digital identity. So this is a zero document proof. We don't need your ID. We don't need your biometric data. All we need is just you physically volunteering to post, volunteering to comment, volunteering to update the activities that you're doing. That is, the farmer voluntarily engages with the Kulima OS framework via a low bandwidth SMS, just like WhatsApp. And then after she has engaged with our platform via WhatsApp, she logs into the platform, maybe daily planting or harvesting times or water usage, and then over time, as she and the 20 neighbors repeat these logs over a month, the system correlates these actions without tracking identities to establish high fidelity and coordination confidence. Now, after we have collected that input from the customer, that is translated as an energy demand. Now we are coming to the green phase, where now with her work, her informal work, that informal work she was feeding the system has now become recognized based on the number of activities that she has been uploading. Then the community's repeated activities generates a verified, aggregated, productive use energy signal. So the outcome will be the cluster becomes visible to institutional developers as a high confidence, de-risked site for renewable asset deployment. So the farmer achieves eligibility for solar irrigation through localized coordination and verified work rhythms, completely bypassing predatory credit scoring or top-down subsidies. This image is what is explaining what the actual system does. For example, our system, the pre-deployment coordination, once we have collected that data, the developers now, they are able to know exactly where to plant their infrastructure. The government are able to have the data without surveillance capitalism, without without even following how people are moving, by just looking at the data that we have collected. The researchers and funders now, they are able to invest in projects which are de-risked, so that they, by doing that, we are now getting financial risks. Now, Kulima OS is a ledger. It's not an utility. It does not mediate financial transactions. It does not sell physical hardware or lay wires. So we are only focusing on coordination, cannot be retrofitted. Systems must be tested at the substrate level through limited concept-based field tests before regional scaling. The framework relies on temporal correlation. It requires sustained community engagement and is intentionally bottlenecked by strict non-surveillance and low bandwidth architecture constraints. These are the key takeaways. Energy injustice is a systematic fragmentation problem that cannot be solved by simply deploying more hardware or capital. We have seen this where a lot of billions of funding has been invested in the global south, but yet a lot of people are still struggling to have access to energy. So it's not about funding, it's not about, but it's about how if these fragmented activities, housing, agriculture, water, informal trade, are coordinating. Another takeaway is that legitimacy precedes power. We must prioritize community-led coordination and absolute data non-surveillance to build institutional trust. Our system is hard-coded even in its architecture to make sure that we do not keep or we do not monetize user data. Before energy systems can scale justly, the social and digital planning of coordination must arrive first. It means before we even before we even decide or assume that this community needs such amount of energy, we need to have a digital plan, a digital planning. We need to know exactly the activities that are being done in that community, how people are living, how agriculture sector is handled, how water is distributed, how informal trade is conducted, how all these are contributing to the energy demand.
Thank you. Very interesting session.